Hello everybody! So today I'm going to be talking about one of the fastest growing companies that exists on the stock market. In fact, I literally searched for what are the top fastest growing companies out there. Wow, it's getting kind of dangerous out here. Oh, I don't even know where I'm going because it's so bright. Alright, so what I think is really important is when you buy a company, you want to make sure that it's actually a company that's growing pretty rapidly. It's really important. And one company that I saw that's growing rapidly in terms of the revenue is Zoom. Now, what's funny about Zoom is I wouldn't buy this stock for anything, and I'll get into that. But in terms of why is Zoom growing, it's mainly because the so-called work at home theme, and that pushed the stock up to the moon. And a lot of companies are lazy, so they chose Zoom because they didn't really do their research, so they chose Zoom over all the other competition. But the truth is, I don't think that Zoom is a great investment long term, despite the fact that the revenue has been going up pretty rapidly. And I think the major reason why is because think about the technology. Video chat, that's the technology. I mean, I've been doing FaceTime with the iPhone for a long time. That's free. So the truth is, it's like paying for emails. You pay for emails, some people do, but it definitely doesn't seem like a growth industry where things are improving pretty rapidly in terms of growth. So I don't think that's really a great investment idea. In fact, I think that Signal will one day probably even get into the video conferencing. I know that they have very secure one-on-one video conferencing, and in fact Zoom has had all kinds of scandals because some of the coders are in China, and they've shut down some people who were discussing issues in China. They shut down the conversations just because one of the people on the call was in China, so we complied with the government's request to censor this. So I don't think this is a good company long term. I think it has kind of a bad reputation just because the code is written in China. They're following Communist Party dictates to censor things. It's just not really a good company. I wouldn't invest in something like this. But yeah, the revenue for now is up, but I looked recently. The revenue has been, the stock has actually been kind of going down as soon as there have been talks about this vaccine, which suggests that investors don't think that this work from home thing is going to stay long term. I think people realize it's kind of a temporary thing. Zoom served the purpose temporarily, but I don't get the sense that that's going to be a long-standing issue. I think that as time goes on, I think people are just going to be there's less demand for Zoom if people are going back to work, pretty much, and I believe that's going to happen. And even if people don't, I think that they will find alternatives to Zoom. I don't think Zoom is that great. I've used Zoom. I don't like it. I don't want to suffer on my computer. I don't think it's secure. I think there are all kinds of issues with it, and it's just very easy to use. I think that's the only issue. But there's other companies can come up with that. Skype, Signal, even Facebook. I don't even like Facebook, but I think that they have the ability to do the same thing. So there's a million different companies. There's no reason to think there's some natural monopoly in any way. And I'll leave it at that. Maybe Danny wants to add something. Danny, what do you think of Zoom? Because IBD listed as one of the top growing stocks.
I don't think it'll be there for very long. Once this pandemic is over, I don't see how it can grow. I think that there's not really a moat here.
There's no moat. Even if they have a patent on it, there's other ways to do it. I mean, we've been doing FaceTime since 2013 or something.
A lot of people don't really trust their security.
Yep. So that's all I have to say about Zoom. I don't buy the stock. There's no monopoly involved. I think that you'd be wasting your money. It's actually one of those things where let's see where I'm going. It's one of those things where you can make some money quickly, but I don't think that Zoom is anything that's worth buying long term.